Yeah.
Yeah. It's not come up down on this one.
Okay. Start, is it up live? You sure it's not on live, Scott? Refresh the page. Yeah, that's the introduction.
Normally it comes up before. Oh yeah, yeah it is. Right, can I see who's watching? Yeah.
Right. Oh, stop the share, haven't I? Ah, Scott, please say that song. That's not nice. That's nice. Well done. Welcome to the live LUF Lounge.
Hi. Welcome to the LUF Lounge. We've just had a bit of a few technical difficulties setting this up because we're all working in a brand new way. So what we thought was live, and we had a great soundtrack and introduction. I think you might be able to hear us talking over it. So if anyone is out there, please let us know that we're live.
So this is Emma Daggers, and tonight we're having a test who can grow the biggest bouffant. So you've got quite a nice bouffant going on there tonight.
Yes, thank you, darling. I do think that we should start doing competitions because we can't go out, can we? It's like back in the day when I wore makeup to go out. We're not going out. It's just going shopping is the thing, isn't it? It's like, yes, let's go to Sainsbury's. So I think that all the ladies out there, we should have bouffant competitions or some different hairstyle competitions. Take pictures, post them in, and we'll think of maybe giving away a prize for the best hairdo in lockdown. This is Peter Yarwood, our leader, and now Precious Brick Protector.
Oh, man.
This guy, there's a guy who pinches bricks off our wall.
When we moved into this property, someone had reversed into a bit of the wall, knocked a bit of the wall down, so I've been lining the bricks up, ready to build.
Ready to.
And one by, it's like somebody's just helping themselves to a brick, so I'm a brick short of a pile now, and it's really like...
So we bought the cement with all good intentions and motivation, and slowly but surely bricks are getting nicked. So we did a lap of the estate last night with this one, like seeing who had spare bricks in the drive. So if you live near us and you've nicked our bricks, we want them back.
And we'll find them.
So listen, welcome to the LUF Lounge. We're going to just do a quick one around the room because we know that we can't do a real live person-to-person Lancashire User Forum, but we're doing it on a virtual platform now, and it's reaching over 18,000 people. So we love you all, whether you are in the drug-using community, the recovery community, or as a professional or a family member. involved or interested in substance misuse and alcohol.
We're all in it together.
We're all in it together, shoulder
to
shoulder. And I have never worked as closely with people, as mad as that sounds, since I haven't seen you all.
Yeah.
So let's just go around the room dead quick and see who we've got in the house tonight. Leon?
I'm Leon. Nice to see you. A bit of Welsh in the background. A welcome all the way from Wales. So, nos on da, dwi gobeithio pod pawb yn cadw yn iawn, which is
Really?
Good evening. I hope everyone is okay.
Nice one.
So, yeah, my job's Director of Residential Services for CAIS, which is Wales' largest provider of drug, alcohol and mental health services. And I oversee our residential portfolio and Salliswindle Hall over in Lancashire.
Lancashire, wicked. And you've also got an array of backgrounds, haven't you, Leon?
Yeah, originally as a probation officer, housing, and then in residential services, having worked for Phoenix Futures, Turning Point, and been with CAIS since 2012.
And I love that about you, but I didn't mean that kind of background.
Oh.
I meant the background behind you.
Yeah. Well,
please just give us a preview.
What, the Welsh Dragon? There you go.
No, the other one you had on before.
Oh.
With the 1980s guy.
Well, yeah. So I always wanted to, I've ended up in recovery. God knows how. But I always wanted to be Maverick from Top Gun. He was my hero, so I thought I'd treat myself to a bit of a,
So as the show goes on, Leon will keep clicking, changing his backgrounds. He might be in New York in a minute. But please come in and tell us and comment, because this is nothing without you guys out there. So please come in, feed in, ask questions to all our guests. So thanks, Leon. Good old Peter Furlong in the house.
Hello.
All right, Mace.
All right, Mace. I can't speak Welsh, but I can speak like that. Like, no, that's a bad impression, isn't it? I'm getting a bit of a regular on the LUF Lounge, aren't I? It feels quite comfortable now, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's good to see everyone. Good to see Lorna. Hello, Lorna.
Hiya.
Yeah, I burnt my head today, as you can see. Again, I never learn. I didn't have But yeah, good to be here.
Always good to have you on, Pete.
I wasn't ready for that. You know, when you've got hair, you don't tend to have to worry about your head getting burnt. But as the years have gone on, thanks for I took a long time getting my bouffant ready tonight. You just messed it up.
Look at mine, it's lopsided.
But you know, as the years go on, the hairline's receding, and this year it burnt, didn't it? Yeah. Just the bit where you know, peeling my scalp back a little bit.
But we love you, Peter, and your shiny head. And it's always good to have you on from a harm reduction point of view as well.
As ever, mate.
As ever, because we're going to do some harm reduction videos next week, aren't we?
We are. That'll be
good job. I've got a beard, otherwise it'd be hard to pick me, Pete, out, wouldn't it?
I seen someone put on Facebook yesterday. It's a bit like being stuck in the 70s. Everyone's got a mad hairdo. The police are pulling everyone up for no good reason, and you can't get a zinc anywhere. So I think it's like being stuck in the 70s.
Well, you know, I'm from
pleasure to have you.
Yeah, and I'm just I'm an acid house casualty myself, so that was before my time, darling. Okay, let's just move slightly on to Amanda Taylor in the house, Women's Centre.
Hello, hi, nice
welcome.
to see everybody. And I'm a complete newbie and not a very experienced Zoom person either, but currently had to come and take myself to my bedroom now because the dogs were in and out, and I just thought this is going to go so wrong. So yeah, I've shut myself in my bedroom. So nice to see everybody, and I'm just here to sort of tell you a little bit about how we're still operating as normal.
Brilliant.
The new normal, I will hasten to add, that involves a lot of seeing yourself, a lot. So yeah, we're communicating that way, and just still supporting mental health money and all of that. It's still going on, and we still want to help people.
Brilliant. All right, well, we'll come to you in a bit, Mandy.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you. We've got Shinny in the house.
Shinny from the Shinny Show.
Shinny from the Shinny Show, man.
Shinny from the Shinny Show.
Shinny from the Shinny Show.
Hi, kids.
What should everyone do with this?
Right, anyone that's on here now, if you've got access to their Facebooks, press your share buttons and share on your timeline and share to some groups, and more people will come on. Just a little tip to get more of your people on.
Yeah.
Just share it out to as many groups as you can.
So anyone who's watching, hit the share button.
Yeah.
And also ask us some questions. Fire some questions in.
We've got some amazing people, and we've got Prun in the house. We've got Fonzie up there.
Shinny, if loads of people start sharing it, how far potentially could this live stream reach?
It could reach probably, well, it depends. If everyone starts sharing, I have already shared to about 4 or 5.
Nice
I've
one,
shared to my name page, my group, my timeline, and like a mental health group. So I'd suggest anyone just to share to as many as you can. We could reach anything. You might reach 20,000 people. You might reach 30,000 people.
Yeah.
If I get my people coming on, they kind of know what I ask, and they'll do it for us as well. But the more of us, the merrier.
Yeah.
Because you're quite an internet sensation, aren't you? You've got a really successful. I think you're an example of somebody who's turned a platform into an opportunity.
Yeah.
And you know, these days we can tailor our own message. We don't have to depend on anybody else to do that for us. And you're a classic example of someone who's done that at a top level, man.
I'm really glad you're on, Shinny.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on. Anything to do with recovery, as you know, I'm in.
I know. And he's got the guitar in the background there, so we will.
Come on, retirement, as you can see. I don't.
You know that, dude.
I only do it to get paid loads of money today, and today I'm doing it for free. I'll do it for shares.
So you got the message. The message is shared. This bouffon is slowly going to the side.
And we had you on some training with us as well, didn't we, Shinny?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. There was one thing that I took from that day, and I said to Emma this morning on my show, and it was the power of 3. I always remember that. It stays in my mind. So recovery is cool, that a lot of people use, but I chose the power of 5. Recovery.
You've made your own up, haven't you?
Pardon?
You've made your own up.
Yeah, I always make my own up. I make up as I go along.
Great to have you on
Great
board.
to have you on,
Shinny. Cheers, Emma.
We have Karen Brown. Hi, Karen. Unmute.
Out. Oh, now this.
I've done it for you.
Done it. Thank you very much. You see, I might be new to this, and I'm also new to Zoom. So,
welcome.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here. I'm really excited. So, service provider in Horizon Blackpool, detox Lancaster, and prisons. So broad range, but always committed to get the best for everybody we can.
Brilliant to have you in the house, Karen. And we have Brother Ben. Brother Ben, my little darling, where are you? Unmute yourself.
There, am I all right?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you loud and clear, Ben.
All right. Well, I'm a sort of a half-baked monk, and I am part of a community that lives in Manchester. I've been in Manchester, well, most of the last 30 years, except for a few years back in LA. And most of that time I've been a chaplain, a volunteer chaplain at Strange Ways. When I was back in LA, I was a volunteer chaplain in LA County Jail. And I'm also a member of NA. So those two things fit together really well for me. And I love it. I love the energy of the whole thing. I identify with guys in prison, both those who are lost, whether it's in criminality or whether it's in some sort of substance abuse. And the thing that I buzz off of is seeing some of those guys make it into recovery and blossom, and then see others who screw up and end up back in there, and want to get back. And then of course there's the tragedies too. But I've known Pete since probably mid-90s or something like that.
We go way back, don't we, man?
We do. And
do you know what? I remember used to come on the landings, and it was a dark time for me, a really dark environment also. But I knew on a Tuesday night you would make your way over to the wing to come and get a few of us and bring us to the chapel. And once a week I'd feel like I was free from prison. And in chapel, I remember there was a beautiful hymn. It went along the lines of, "Do not be afraid, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine." And I just used to get so much from that once a week sing-along. It had helped me go back into that environment and survive, Ben. So,
Thank
you. Salt of the earth.
Yeah, man.
Well, the sad thing for me is that I'm not allowed in at the moment because I'm a volunteer and I'm also an old fart. So I'm considered risky and at risk. So But I keep in touch as much as I can with guys, and I always run into people. Manchester's great for that, running into people, from recovery or from prison or from the streets or whatever. Anyway, thanks. It's great to be here. Thanks.
I know. Big shout out to you, brother Ben. Welcome. Because I know there's loads of lads that, up and down the country that sing your praises. And even though we're working in a very different way, we're going to have to adapt. And we are doing. Look at you. You've not been to a LUF for ages. You're right in the middle of the screen, baby. Okay, let's move on to our very own Lorna. Hi, who are you, Lorna? And where are you?
Hiya, I'm Lorna. I'm a part-time staff for the New You Red Rose Recovery. I wasn't always that, but I will tell you a bit about that later. I'm the voice for the service users of St Anne's in Fleetwood. Yes.
Yes, Lorna, my girl. Okay, let's move on to our very own Glenn as well. Hi, Glenn.
Hey, all right. Yeah. So I'm Glenn. I work for Red Rose Recovery. I'm on here. I'm on more shows. And what I do is I'm scanning the live feed. So if I'm looking like I'm not interested, it's not. It's because I'm trying to look at a few different screens so that the audience can get questions across. There's also people out in the community that's watching the stream as well, because it gets to I think it was 4,000 or 5,000 people last week. So we can't ask every question, but I'll try and get as many as I can across to the guests. But there's also people interacting through messages and stuff like that. So that's what I'm on here for.
So you're a bit like a fighter pilot. Perhaps you've got some tips for Leon. He's got the fighter pilot in the background,
sure,
but you've got the screens in front, man. You're really
one teach one, Leon. Pass it on. Teach Glenn how to do that. So keep your questions coming in, guys. We've got some really great people in the house that can answer some questions.
Should we say hello to a few of the people watching?
Let's just also introduce our very own and a very special man, Prun, in the house.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for inviting me again.
Always a pleasure. Always. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm very good. For those who don't know me, my name's Prun. I'm a consultant psychiatrist and a medical director of a health and social care charity called Change, Grow, Live. And I live in Manchester, and I know Pete and Emma very well, and very honoured to be back here.
Yes.
Do you know, you come on the first week, and we was talking about.
I needed you that week.
You can't. I mean, he got the ask, didn't he? Yeah. And like within 15 minutes, he was there, wanted to come on a live stream, and it's like, thanks.
Yeah. Great to be here.
It was something you said that stuck with me when you was talking about seeing past people's vulnerabilities and believing in them enough to, we've got to change the way we had to dispense medications. That was on us live, and you were saying, you know, perhaps it's an opportunity for people to take on that responsibility, and we've seen lots of guys step up to the mark. So, you know, some of that change will be long-term change, won't it?
Have you got? Did you say you want to speak to some people?
Yeah, we wanted to shout out a few of the guys watching. So we've got Michaela Chaplin.
Hi, Michaela. Shout out to Michaela. Shinna, you need to be shouting these people out as well and giving them a big smile with them teeth.
Daniel Littlechild.
Danny, hi Danny. Shout out to Danny.
Lynn Sutter.
Lynn Sutter, part of the team Service User Voice, yes.
Stephen Brown.
Brownie, hi Brownie.
Lindsay Jackson.
She'll be coming on soon.
Donna
nice
Louise.
Shout out to Jack.
And our Jack from the East. We can't leave Jack out. And Leslie Butler, get hitting the share button.
Yeah, hit the share.
All of you hit the share button and let's see if we can get a big audience in tonight.
Yeah, and it's all about the love, guys. So come on, smile. Look like you're enjoying yourself. Look like a right miserable bunch.
We've got 64 people who are live with us tonight, so that's great. If we could broaden that, get a few more.
Triple it, quadruple it. Glenn, you got a question?
Yeah, so there's a comment from Claire Illy that in Wymot saying that would we be able to get this in Wymot's review?
Yeah. Right, let's talk to Karen about that. Karen Brown after, yeah?
Yep, no problem.
That's right, we'll sort that out, can't we? Wicked.
Can I just jump in a minute and just ask a few of the viewers? There's 67 viewers on right now.
Yeah.
If everybody starts to hit the like and share buttons and share to as many groups as possible, loads of more people will come on then. So everybody keep liking and sharing what you see and share to as many groups as possible. Let's get as many people on as you can.
Yeah. Nice one, Shinnet. Nice one, mate. We're gonna go. I think that why not, Karen? We can sort that out, can't we? At some point, that's brilliant.
I can definitely sort that.
Right. Okay. I just want to open this up now. So we, until we can get the trends and the themes off the audience, because this is nothing without you all. Until we can get the trends and the themes and what you want as a theme, we're using the values of the Lancashire User Forum. And this week is commitment. So that's the theme of this show tonight. So we're going to use commitment. And I want to introduce Lorna, who's, I'm not going to tell, do you know what? Lorna, I'm going to hand it over to you.
I'll take you off mute. Lorna, I'll unmute you. So, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
And I do just want to say that, it takes a lot for people to come on here and bear all. And Lorna is absolutely courageously, bravely, strong woman that she is, has come on to give us a little bit of life experience, what happened and where she is today. So take it away, Lorna. The floor is yours, my darling.
All like that when the time's up.
I will cut you off if you're going on. Don't worry.
All right. Hello, guys. I'm Lorna. I'm also Lorna in recovery. I'm a recovering addict, and I like to share a bit of my experience, strength and hope, and hope that it reaches people and that they can identify. And by the end of my story, I hope that these are all coming and get involved and get what I have right now and what I feel right now. But it wasn't always like that, I started using drugs at 9-year-old. I'll go on about a little bit about my past. I was in and out of children's homes 6 weeks as a battered baby, taken back to the children's, and from the age of 3-year-old, mentally, physically, and emotionally, I was damaged. And then I was taken to a children's home, another children's home. And from there, they took parental rights, or whatever happened. And I never saw the family again. I was always a needy kid, and I understand why I was a needy kid. I wanted to be loved, wanted and needed. and I wasn't getting that anywhere. I was getting hurt, I was getting damaged, and I thought I would get that with children, so it wasn't happening. So I used to run away, not very far because I was scared of the dark. And when I was 9, I run away and I met, it was 2 older men and a woman, and they brought me some sweets. And 10 number 6, I don't think anybody remember that. Like, there you go, the cigarettes, by the way. And I went up with these people, you know, they were giving me the attention that I prayed for. I remember holding their hands and skipping down the road. And that's where I used my first substance. I remember waking up, I don't know what I used. I remember waking up, I'd been raped. But whatever that substance was, did the thing that I was wanting to do. It numbed all that. It numbed everything. I carried on doing a lot of other substances. You know, alcohol was involved.
How old was you at that time?
I was 9 when I first took the substance.
Oh, wow.
9, yeah.
You got raped at 9.
Yeah. And do you know what used to bug me for a lot of years? Running away from that children's home, nobody came looking for me. Yeah. So that just made it in my head. I'm not wanted, I'm not needed, I'm not anybody. I was told that all the way from being a child, whatever the father and the mother was doing to me and the brothers. I was told all that, you know. And I was tied up as a child. God, tied up, you know. And when he wanted to do his business, I was untied. I remember 3-year-old having my fist ready. I knew when it was going to happen to me. I knew by the smell of it. I don't know if he was an addict. I knew by the smell. As a 3-year-old, I always blamed myself for what happened because, when I was a little bit older, I was in and out children's homes, and because in them days, they just called you a problem child, and they were doing what they were doing. They were abusing you, but they weren't whipping me. They weren't hanging me up. They weren't beating me. And so that's how life was. That's how life was. And when I took that first substance, it probably hit something in me. Did I think it was wrong for them to abuse me? To rape me even? Yeah. No. And then, no. I thought I deserved it. They gave me more substance. I stayed with them for a little while, and then about 10 or 11, there's a lot of things that's suppressed with me that I haven't got memories of, and that might be a good thing. I started, children's home didn't come back for me, so I started learning to run my own life. I remember being 10, 11, in Cardboard City in London, that's what we called it, London. I got over there, and I had this thing like I was a woman, I was strong like a woman. I wasn't. And I could find a group of people, everybody I found who were nice to me. Oh, this is where I fit in, this is where I fit in. And then damage would happen. And then I would feed my head and go, I'm bad, I'm putting out something that's making them do these things to me. They were right, the children's home, they're all right, I'm not worth nothing, and so I stayed in that story, of their abuse, and throughout the years, it kept me trapped in my addiction for 53 years. I lived in Cardboard City, went many, many hostels, lived on the streets for a lot of years. I fitted in there, and then I remember I was 49 years old, I did a lot of people a lot of harm. A lot of people I stole, I was in prison schools, many prisons, things I had no morals, no values. I didn't know who I was, where I belonged. I thought selling myself, was making money. It made me feel dirty. This is when I got recovery, but it was nothing to me then. I thought I was using the man. All the things I didn't want to do, all the things I said I wouldn't do, I did, yeah, I did. I had children very early age, and I don't remember the first 3. I remember the names, but I don't remember them. I don't remember the birth. And I was mixed up with my sexuality. I'm not mixed up now. I tried men, I tried women, and it was the women that I was close to was the men that were the ones that disgusted me, to be honest. And you know, so selling myself, being a lesbian, and I will say that, you know, it was just disgusting. I was very, very mixed up, but always had a lot of anger. I remember 3-year-olds holding my fist, waiting for when I grew up, what I was going to do to them, what I was going to do to them. And my life was just a pattern of going into a hostel. They all wanted to help me, not me telling them I don't need help. I don't know what you're talking about. Thought they were all problems. I turned out this vicious, angry woman, angry against the world because I didn't know who the world was. The world was just there to hurt me. That's how I seen it from being a child. You know, the world. So I was always ready with my fist. I wasn't even a fighter. I was great at manipulating a gang of people that would do the fighting for me and taking all the glory, and they'll be on my side. I learned many traits from prison, many traits on the streets, and I carried them with me all the way through. And you know, it was horrible. It was horrible. I knew I knew there was a problem, but I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't know how to stop it. You know, I used to go to services. I was obnoxious with them. Just give us me script. You know, I was in with all the men. You know, because it was easy to manipulate men. It was easy to get what I wanted because of what I had. You know, on me. You know, this kind of thing. And excuse me. And that's how life lived, on the street, in the hostel, kicked out another hostel, back on the street for years and years and years. That's how I lived. You know what? And I thought, this is it. Anyway, this is it. But inside, I would die. And I knew there was something wrong. And if I'm honest, I didn't want to live. I didn't want to live. If I'm honest, I didn't want to live. But you know, God had different plans for me. I thank God for that now. I remember 49-year-old, just before rock bottom. It was 2000, I think it was 2006. And I've been doing this for a lot of years, but this is one particular time I can remember. I had some people come to my house from the street, and I was letting them because I knew they had. And then when they were messing them out, I was kicking them all out. But I let this girl stay because I knew she still had something. But when she was talking, you know, there was something was happening to us. I remember dotting my head, banging my head up all the walls. And I had a drug worker who knew a social worker, and she happened to ring at that right time. And when I can't do this, I'm mental, there's something wrong with me, I can't do it, I want to die. And I remember them coming to get me. I remember, I'll go on to later on when I start recover, and I went to this hospital. And in this hospital, I was really poorly. And they changed my name, and I now understand it was so outside influences couldn't come in. And they talked about a detox and a rehab. They were detoxing me in hospital and a rehab. I've never heard of a rehab. It didn't come from where I was brought up. And I said, yeah. You know, I hadn't plans to go because I still had drugs at home. So, you know, I was bluffing them as I always did. Bluffed them, con them, tell them what they wanted to hear. And they put me onto this treatment centre. The social worker come, and I hated social workers. I blamed them for everything. But this social worker, I thanked her later. She come and she sat with me. She went, I want you to talk to this treatment centre in St. Anne's. Never heard of it, St. Anne's. And I remember talking to somebody, and they were going, you've had a hard life. And I remember going, I know. I was so in that self-pity thing because I lived in that story. We can help you. We'll wrap you up in cotton wool. That's all I heard. Wrap you up in cotton wool. And I said, where is it? He said, it's on the beach. I said to my social worker, go and get me bathing costumes. I thought I was going to go swimming. I was going to live the glory. That treatment centre saved my life. That treatment centre was hard. saved my life, saved my life. It introduced me to NA, and I went there, and and I started to recover. I never knew who I was. It took me a lot. It took them a year and 5 days. I was in treatment for a year and 5 days because I couldn't break that denial and that delusions. My truth is my truth. What I perceived is what I perceived. They used to tell you, your wrongs that I'd left, that hurt me. You've done this to your kids. No, never. I used to, But then when it started breaking me, remember this wave, the feelings coming up, and it was tears. I've never cried for years. I learned not to cry because there was consequences to my crying. And I remember going like this, and used to pull my hand away, and I used to get angry. And then one day these tears just come. And I went to NA and I heard the story from a woman, and I thought it was a setup. And then I ended up working in that treatment centre. Oh, I was so proud, because I knew what I was talking about when I was trying to save the client. I knew it, and I got a phone call. I had never had any. My children got taken off me, thank God, because they would have been right in my manageability, right in my mess. I wouldn't have cared because I didn't care myself. I love my children, even in addiction.
Few more minutes, Lorna.
I could not care for them. I could not. From my oldest son, Aaron, I remembered him, and he was an addict. I found him right down in Penzance. But I also had to go through a period of, he also told us my youngest son had died. Yeah. So I had to go through all that. Relapse happened because I wasn't listening to anybody. 2.5 years of relapse happened because I got into a relationship thinking I could save them. Bang, bang, bang. And then through that relapse 2.5 years ago, I was going to I wanted to get involved with services. So I got involved with 5 Ways to Wellbeing. It was done by Mark Gotti. And Steve and Louise was there. And I thought, and I was still like, so I kept going. Because it was time. It was safe. I was safe. I felt safe.
Yeah.
And then the 2 guys got a job. Mum, this is what happens. They got a job. They got where they wanted to be. And we took over. Somebody else took over the bar.
Steve Brown. That's Steve Brown and Louise. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know if I could mention the names, but Steve and Louise, and they helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So we took over their group. I went for an interview. I got somebody to write the question, the interview form down. I never read the email right. I thought it was one person. I walked in, and it was 3 people. So the fear was on me. But I stayed. I said to my friend, "What if you ask me these questions, Louise?" The first 3 questions was the first 3 questions. So I stopped there. I knew I failed. I was dying inside. So from there, a mentor came, Emma, and that was my saving grace. Then Peter, the whole team. Emma taught me that each one teach one. She taught me, Lord, They told me for the first time, not just Emma, Peter, the whole team said, you are worth it. You are somebody. Yeah. You can do this. And they put me in at the deep end. And you know what? That's why I'm sat here today, feared up, sharing, because they give to me and I'm giving back to them. So if anybody, I don't know if anybody's got this, but you know what? If anybody out there, right, and they really want to change and feel like this, right, get on the phone to us, because we're all here. We will love you, we'll pick you up, and we'll get you to where you want to be.
Lorna, how old are you?
I'm 65 in August.
Woman after my own heart.
Normally, at that age, people are retiring, but you're just getting fired up, aren't you?
I'm just starting.
Yeah, you've just got another 6 hours as well, working with the Service User Voice.
I have, and I've got a great God in my life, trust me.
Yeah, and you know what, Lorna, you are a great voice for the service users in St Anne's.
Thank you.
I just want to present you with this for your bravery, which is...
Oh!
So show that again to the screen.
Shinny needs what? Shinny, you do need one of these as well. But it's a Fearless Speaker boot camp badge. Can you see it?
And what level is that?
That's a platinum.
So that's the highest level you can get, Lorna.
Whoop, whoop. So you have got your platinum Fearless Speaker because you've just spoken fearlessly. We do have silver, bronze as well for speaking at LUFs, but I am going to have to...
Is there a bit of favouritism there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. She's on
Well
my...
deserved.
Thank you, Karen. Mandy, I totally agree. I just wanted to bring Glenn in because I think there's a few women watching that are reaching out. So, Glenn?
Yeah, just a big shout out to Flory Jones. Lorna, you've touched a few hearts on the live stream, and she said that she can relate to what you've been through from Washington, and she'd like to connect with Red Rose on the online groups and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Michaela Chaplin said you're an amazing lady. Well done, and you're so brave. And Sean, can't find a second name, wants to know a bit more about Red Rose recovery.
Well, we can do that. We can come to that, can't we?
Do you know if there's anything that Lorna spoke about that brings things up for you, then please just get in touch because our guys can signpost you. We're connected via the website and the app. We're connected into a big resource of people who can support you. You're not on your own. You don't have to be on your own.
You're not on your own. And for the women out there that did touch, we have got Mandy on from the Women's Centre, and I did post a self-referral from the Women's Centre onto the Lancashire User Forum Facebook page. And we can get numbers on there. So if you are watching this and you're not a member of the Lancashire User Forum Facebook page, I would start clicking on there because we have resources internationally that post stuff on there, recovery related, harm reduction related.
Yeah.
You know, a couple of our guys up in Morecambe needed needle exchange. We've managed to get some posters out to start delivery within the amazing CGL treatment. So I just had to mention that, of course. I just want to say, Lorna, I love you.
I love you,
Lorna,
too.
I think I love you too.
You do love Amanda. She's ace.
Well done. I'm so proud, and that you've realised that you are worth things. Doesn't matter what age you get to, that you are worth who you are, and that's brilliant. Just your strengths are there. They come out eventually, and to overcome all that trauma, you deserve a crown as well. There you go. So thank you for sharing.
And she is an amazing advocate for the service users. Trust me, she will shout if they don't get their bacon butties, man. Lorna is on my case. Let me tell you.
But I was on both interviews. So the first interview we had to say you're not ready, and she got the support. Months later, me and Richard interviewed. Honestly,
smashed it.
It was one of the best interviews I've ever sat on.
I knew you would.
And you could tell she'd had some intensive one-to-one support. But how many hours have you got work now?
13.
13 hours work.
Yeah.
Go on.
Go on, girl. At 64, when should be retiring, you're just starting. Yeah. So I love you. I'm going to move on to, where's our Shinny?
Shinny from the Shinny Show.
Shinny Show. Shinny, what should we do now?
I'm sorry, I'm just I'm on the other phone now telling everybody to share this out and stuff. I'm a busy bee.
We should share.
Say again.
I've shared. I've shared.
Brilliant.
Yeah, everybody share now. I mean, they're good figures then. 17, 18 people are commenting. So you'd be surprised, I think, after this show, how many people this show reaches after it's finished.
Yeah.
And like you can see on my comments, I'm just trying to connect with some people saying share to their groups, and more of their people will come on then. Yeah. So that's any of us that are on now. Yeah. Brother Ben, I know you're a bit of a technophobe, I won't ask you. But yeah, anyone that knows what they're doing on Facebook, just press your like and share buttons and just share it to as many groups as possible.
Yeah.
And more numbers, more viewers will come on. And after the show's finished, then it'll carry on around Facebook.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
And we've got. Did you say we had someone from Washington there, Glenn?
Yeah, Washington.
Yeah.
So that's how far it's reaching.
And I'm sure we're going to reach some more now from the retired musician.
Am I singing now? Yeah.
Come on, give us a tune, Shinny.
How many do you want? Just the one?
Yeah.
Right, okay then. I don't, yeah, okay. I'll sing one. Now, this is when I was out. Let me find it. This is when I was still out using, as everybody knows, I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I'm 3 years clean and sober in about 4 weeks, June 1st. This song is called White Lady, and I'm sure a lot of you know what I was talking about. But yeah, I'm totally anti-drugs and anti-alcohol today. But the music that I've wrote about in the past, it's always been drug-related and what have you. So I always do say, if I am singing, that I'm anti-drugs, yeah. So, but I just thought, everybody always asks for this song on my show, so I always feel the need to explain that. I don't do, it's not like that today. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're abstinent then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Totally abstinent, yeah. So I'm going to do it. This is the White Lady.
Okay.
Can you hear that? Can you hear it?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, she calls on my name. I get a rush so strong that it's setting my mind to say. She overpowers me and whispers in my ear, I'm going to set you free. She never leaves me. So I run and hide, but she's calling all over me. And you, only you bothers me. I hold my hand and start to cry. Flows from a feeling inside. Cold and lonely, I would find the truth, the white lady's in my mind. Oh, she calls out my name. I get a rush so strong that it's setting my mind to say she's a great servant to me. But my cruel master, she ain't ever gonna be. And it's you, only you. And it's you, only you. And it's you, only you, who bothers me. I hold my head and start to cry. Flows from the feeling inside. Cold and lonely, I would find the truth, the white lady's in my mind. She calls out my name. There we go. numbers go down when I sing. So if somebody quickly starts talking, the numbers will go back up again.
Well done, Shinny.
All right, welcome.
Thank you.
Shinny, will you'll come back and sing us out, won't you?
Yeah, what time are you finished?
We reckon it'll be finished about 6:30.
I've got a great song to finish, and everybody off my show always asks me to do the same, and it's called Goodbye, actually, off my second album. So that's a song about goodbye to drugs, alcohol, bad relationships, bad choices. So I'll definitely do that at the end of the show.
Brilliant. So everyone on Shinny's show, then come back and see that song if you want to see that song. I'm totally running your show now, Shinny. Just while you're on, love it, them glasses suit you, by the way.
Thank you.
Will you just tell us what you're up to now and what have you got going on? Because you've got some meditation stuff on Zoom and things. You've got your own gig going on now, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. So for the last 3 years, I've been doing daily shows, mainly on the platform, the page Shinny on Facebook. That reaches over 2 million people a month, that. And on Instagram, I do daily, like, morning shows. I show people how I wake up, I pray, put the kettle on, I meditate, I train. I just try and promote the best parts of recovery, and that encourages others to do the same. But I'm highly into meditation at the minute. I have been for the last year, and it's probably been the best part of my recovery, to be honest, because I've never had a dark moment since. I used to have a lot of suicidal thoughts in the early recovery. Every 6 to 8 weeks, it'd get very dark for me. But since starting meditation, I meditate every morning. I've never had a dark morning since. I've had bad days, but they're nothing like how they used to be. So I chair a meditation meeting every Friday for Alcoholics Anonymous, and that's an open meeting for anybody. As you all know, I'm from every single fellowship, NACA, AA, and I always openly speak about that.
Yeah.
And then I've started to get people off my social media that are always asking me about the meditation. I've set up a Zoom meeting every Monday morning and Friday morning at around 9 o'clock, just a 10-minute guided meditation, just to show people how to do it, basically. So for that, you'd have to go to my Instagram account, which is Shinny Show Live, and you can direct message me on there, and I'll send you the link to the Zoom meeting for Monday and Fridays.
Right.
Shinny, we go back a long way as well.
Yeah.
So about 3 years ago, you started this off. I mean, we're all on Zoom using these platforms now because of COVID-19, but you've been doing this for at least 3 years, haven't you, Shinny?
Well, yeah, it's through this time. It's sad to say I've not lost a lot of friends at the minute, but a lot of my friends have gone back out there in the madness, which has broke my heart just lately. But I am blessed to have this in my life, the social media, because every day is recovery for me. I've had to build it into my life because I am an extremist, and I can't do anything half-hearted. If I tried recovery half-hearted, I don't believe I'd be here today talking the message. But yeah, it's for me, social media and the Zoom. I wasn't a fan of at first.
Yeah.
But now coming on and doing my own, and I've got to be a big part of it, you see, for me to like anything, because I'm obviously a self-obsessed, self-centered addict, aren't I? No, but I think it's great that we're also doing the meetings. I think it's brilliant. We've also been I think we're built for this kind of stuff. Us addicts, that is. Yeah.
That are lucky enough to be in the Zoom, because there are a lot of people, and I've got to speak up for the guys out there that aren't in the rooms and they're still out there using, and they've got a burner. If they've got a burner, they've not got this technology. So we are lucky, aren't we?
Blessed, very blessed, yeah, because a lot of us depend on the meetings. But I do believe if you are working a real good program in your life, things like this, we should be built for around acceptance, be able to meditate when times are hard, reach out and connect to our brothers and sisters of recovery. We've got FaceTime, we've got WhatsApp. We're so blessed in our recovery today. It's not the 30s, 40s and 50s no more. We have Zoom, so a pandemic can come next year as well, and it'll be the true alcoholics and the true addicts that work in a real program, and we'll be like, throw it at us.
Shinny, that's a lot of people, 2 million people. That's a massive reach, that.
Worldwide, worldwide, that.
Been quite successful, and I know that, because you've got a team around you now as well, haven't you? You're not just on your own.
It was needed, full management team, full admin team. There's a book being written now on my life called Making of an Addict. We filmed the film trailer last year, which is an 11-minute trailer. The part I had to play the part of myself, basically. And from the
favourite part.
Pardon?
Your favourite part.
My favourite part, I can play me easy, Fuck Tom Hardy, sorry for swearing.
It's all right.
But so the book's being written now. That should be out by no later than June 1st of next year. And then from that, we'll have the full feature film, Making of an Addict, and it will break the stigma of addiction massively. And what we're trying to do with the book is show people, obviously, we needed to be on it's our rock bottoms, to be on our knees to find recovery, basically.
Yeah.
Not everyone in our world finds recovery. There's only 5% of us that get through. So the book, there's going to be a message in the book, and it's going to kind of, if you can identify with a lot of the stuff I'll be talking about, it's going to tell people that they might suffer with the same illness as me. Because I wish I would have had a book like that when I was 21.
Last question. Sorry. Go on.
Go on.
I was just going to say, I think when we first met, it was about 3 years ago, because you was at that restless stage. You knew you had a purpose. You knew you had a vocation. You know, you was out helping, but you wasn't as structured and as on your platform and as successful as you are now. You was in that period of, should I ask people for money to speak?
Yeah.
You know, it was like, I feel really awkward saying, have you got a budget for that?
You wasn't quite sure what you had, because you didn't know the potential of it yet. You didn't want to let it go too quick, you know.
I'm a multi-millionaire now. It's brilliant.
Can I ask you though, because
what kind of car do we drive? No, you can't.
One of the things that stops people getting right out there on social media.
You're getting excited because you're shouting, aren't you?
Well, I am. I am from your shouting. Do you know, one of the things what stops people getting right out there on social media is the trolls. Now, you can, say and do all the right things, but you'll still get someone who wants.
I love them.
Doc Martens.
The trolls earn me fortunes. I love them till they love themselves. I work my program around everything in life, so especially on my show, I always tell people, I'm only going to love you till you love yourself. If you're coming on a show like this of recovery, and you know what the show's about, and you're giving me a load of crap, that tells me you're not in a good place. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to reach out to you and ask you if you've got a problem. 9 out of 10, you say, Shane, sorry for being a dick. I didn't really know what it was, this show. I am struggling. Can I stay on? So it's the way out. It's how you work it with the trolls. It is. Kill them with kindness.
It really is about the love, isn't it? I remember it is about the love. I remember Prun, we had a meeting, and we was having a MAT meeting, and we had a discussion about medical assisted treatment. Right. And we was talking then about streaming it live, like back in the day when we had meetings with people. But that was technology. Then we were talking about it, and that was only a few couple of months ago. Because and look at us now, it is the way forward, isn't it? Streaming.
I think we've had no choice. It's like, obviously I had to do a lot of work around the traditions of our fellowships, because I was challenged a lot about what I was speaking around. So obviously I work through the traditions. I know what I can say, what I can't say. To be honest, I can say what I want on my own platform, but I do respect the program that I work, which most of the people know. I work my life around 2 programs, NA and AA, basically. So I respect them traditions. But that was many years ago when NA and AA was very small. It needed protecting. But today, it doesn't need protection. It's massive. It's a machine in its own right, basically. So for us, the attraction, we don't need to promote. But the attraction is recovering addicts coming on platforms like this, saying, we get well, and we do. We're not promoting nothing. We're just telling you how we got well. And that's the attraction for me.
People need to see it, don't they? People need to see it. There's those that can't get a day in. you know, they need to see that recovery is possible.
Yeah.
Right, I am aware of the time, Shinny. So if there's any questions for Shinny, get them in. Keep asking, guys. This is your.
I'm staying on. I'm going to stay on till the end anyway.
All right.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Emma.
All right, love it. And what should we be doing?
Shutting me up.
Sharing. We should be sharing.
Anybody that's on here now, again, it helps massively. It's we've all come out now to give our time. So we're just asking you now to press a few buttons. Press your like and share buttons now, anybody that's watching this show. And that will attract more people to watch what we're talking about.
And it really is about the love, guys. You don't need to be alone. You don't need to be isolated. We're here. We want to love you. You know, we've got phones. We're all on the phone every day. Even though services aren't open, things are shut down, we're still here on the phone 24/7. So we can put that out there as well. Phone numbers, who to get in touch with, the new U team. There's loads of stuff going on. CSI, there's lots of things still going on. Shinny's Zoom, for instance. Should we swiftly move on to...
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Shinny. Karen Brown, how are you, Mrs? And what are you up to these days?
I'm good. I'm working hard, as always, interfering and, pushing and shoving. And I think Delphi, you know Delphi anyway, absolute commitment to improving clients' experiences, removing barriers, all of those things. So hard work. Horizon in Blackpool, we're committed as well to reduce drug-related deaths in Blackpool. So close to my heart. So do you want me to just give you a quick overview of what's happening there?
How's it going with them drug-related deaths?
I was just going to say, you're on my page. Well,
I'm also on your wavelength.
So I was just going to say, before we changed the way we worked, we was looking at drug-related deaths because I was meant to be interviewing at the DDN.
Yeah, that's right.
DDN interviewing, and drug-related deaths was. I'm a bit of a geek like this. I like knowing this stuff, and I've got some great coaches and a great coach that helps me understand an etiquette around this, you know. So. Because Blackpool has always been known, like we did some work with Euro Input in Blackpool 2 years ago, we flooded with naloxone. Yeah. It's always been a hot spot for drug-related deaths, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
So where are we up to today?
Okay, so 2019, there were 48 drug-related deaths. And so absolutely the drugs were the death, not people who've died with cancer who were drug users, but so pure 48. A third of those had never been in treatment at all. So there's a real untapped market of people. Yeah. Mostly, the absolute majority were on their own when they died. So, you know, that's sad. It's horrific. So I suppose really then we are looking at an average of 1 a week. So something had to change. We've started a panel. The coroner comes now, the ambulance service, mental health services, service users, a whole host of people, and we're starting to look at people who've had non-fatal overdose, because that's obviously a precursor for a sadness after. I think coronavirus has thrown something into this that we would never have expected. We would have never thought about this. So we've changed the way we work, and Perun will also say around CGL about the way we've, you know, Delphi have changed the way we prescribe, the supervision of the drugs. People are taking more home. So quite a moment where it's like, oh, can we? And yes, we can. And we have done. And, we've again flooded with naloxone, with safe boxes. So we're changing the way we work. We're contacting people more. So as you say, people are getting spoken to more. So the thing is, why I'm focused, but I'm now flummoxed in a way. In February, we had 4 drug-related deaths in Blackpool, February. Since February, we've had none in March, and we've had 1 in April. So in the last 8 weeks, we've had 1 drug-related death. And if we would go by 2019 data and 2018 data, we're on 1 a week, and now we've had 1 in 8 weeks. So everybody will have a great reason why they think that is. Yeah. But it would be great to capture Why do we think that is? And what can we get hold of that's happening now?
Yeah.
What's needed? So we're changing services. We need your help to say, this is what you should change into. Because we've now got an amazing opportunity to do something so different for people who aren't in service and people that we don't want to die.
Yeah.
Can I ask then, because I've heard some people say maybe the reason for that, and you alluded to it a little bit before when you said a lot of these people are isolated, they're on their own, and I've heard people say, well, the reason that the deaths have gone down is because possibly they've died and no one knows about it, but that's not necessarily true, because if you've got people on your books who are in prescribed treatment and they stop coming, then the first thing that'll do is raise a red flag, and you'll be straight.
Absolutely. So we work obviously with Renaissance outreach team, and our staff are all outreaching now, going to people's houses. So if they don't turn up for scripts, we're straight there just to say, this is a welfare check. We just want to know you're okay. So for our clients, I would say, yes, there's a wraparound care for that, and working with Fulfilling Lives. I think the people who are not in treatment, then, that's an unseen. So there's lots of theories around the county lines. What's coronavirus done to the county lines? Have we stopped? So there's drug dealers are still in Blackpool. We know that, we can see them. People are being intimidated sometimes because they've got 2 weeks of medication. So with everything's being changed and all the dynamics are being changed. So maybe we're not partying as much, but the partying, a lot of our deaths weren't partying deaths, they were on their own, and people now are on their own. Something is different, and we need to capture that magic now, because we've all been working so hard to stop people dying, and coronavirus in some sort of perverse way has reduced our drug-related deaths.
Interesting.
So, how?
Yeah. And I think I remember saying to Prun on our first week about believing in people, believing in our service users, that they've got a couple of weeks take home, then you can make that last.
And that's not only for clients. I think that's also for key workers. So key workers have had to almost grow up a bit as well, and feel that you could trust, and this is a partnership. This isn't anything else. We're grown-ups here, aren't we?
Do you feel closer to the service users than you did before COVID?
I think I'm probably detached from that situation, but I'm absolutely hearing and getting lots of feedback about people are feeling very supported, because food is different, access to food is different, access to housing is different. People are accepting that being on your own isn't good, and people are doing something about that. Whereas, before March the 23rd, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So there's much more community.
Yeah. How do you capture the population, that are on methadone from Delphi?
From Delphi.
Yeah.
So we've got 838 people on methadone. So the majority have had their scripts changed. Obviously, we do Buvidal, the injection as well.
Yeah.
So we capture that just by having close communication with the pharmacies as well.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah.
Because there's a lot of hostels, and I know Blackpool's a unitary.
Yeah.
But the amount of hostels in Blackpool, it's like, wow. There's how many homeless hostels are there in Blackpool?
Well, there was only one homeless. So what the council have done, and this has been a really big concerted joint piece of work, is that they've now commissioned, I think there's 8 bed and breakfasts.
Yeah.
And they've housed. So to be political, 2 months ago, Blackpool Council would say, oh, no, we don't have a problem with homeless.
Yeah.
Interestingly, they've housed 103 people. So so they are being housed. They are now getting food packages. So that wraparound care is incredible. So we're doing now what we should be doing.
I know this just sounds like there's so much more camaraderie. But just dead quickly, Lorna, you had a lady that needed some food in Blackpool, didn't you? Did you get a response to that on Facebook?
I've got a response, and I've just got a text there that they've delivered all the food to her, and they're going to deliver every week.
Brilliant. Who did that coming off?
It was through a connection. Johnny Mack.
Johnny Mack. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, brilliant.
Shout out Johnny Mack.
Shout out Johnny Mack. Yeah. Shout out all the jobs crew.
John Benson, did you say?
Yeah.
John Benson. So, Karen, you also manage services in the prisons as well.
So that's Claire Illingworth. She leads the prisons side of Delphi. So Claire currently is HMP Manchester, Buckley Hall, Wymott and Gar. So a good mix of good old men there.
Yes.
Good. Wow.
And prisons are close to our heart at Delphi. So we have the Staffordshire, the Lancaster prisons, Kirkham. So prisons is something special.
Can you get the governor of Strangeways on the horn and let him know that Brother Ben needs to be coming back in there?
We can. But, as a clinician myself, I would say Brother Ben is absolutely fine where he is at this moment in time. There's coronavirus in Manchester prison and he doesn't need to be in there. So there'll be a time for this all to change, won't there? And it's now time for him to be safe.
Yeah.
How about the prisons tapping into some of this technology then?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sure, especially the governor at Wymott, I'm sure we will be able to tape this and they'll be able to then screen it, make sure that there's nothing inappropriate, which of course there isn't. And then that would go through onto the television.
Yeah. They can. HMP Style have done a TikTok video. Come on, for the Queen's birthday, they can do this.
Yeah, they can. They can do it.
They can get on TikTok, they can get on Zoom.
Actually, just now you mentioned TikTok, Manzi, another challenge, as well as the hairdos for the women.
Here we go.
I am going to challenge you to complete a TikTok with me that I started 2 weeks ago, because the people in the community want to see you doing a TikTok with me and the boys.
I just think you kind of said some things that weren't true about me, having left feet heavy and not being in tune or something like that.
Well, when you're doing the right hand and a left leg, it's a bit something you've got to practice, darling. You've got to practice. Who agrees? Do you agree that Pete should do TikTok?
TikTok's the way forward and it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In isolation, it's all you've got.
Okay. If you post some selfies then of your bouffants on the section, then I will do my bit and I'll do a TikTok.
Right. Don't mess with the bouffant, man. Okay. So Karen, I think if we can, and Anastasia as well, over there in Style. I know when we were sat on the Women's Offender Board Monday, she was very keen to get the girls, some of our lived experience girls, maybe doing posters. Maybe we'd do Zoom stories for the girls.
Yeah, maybe you can link in with, we've got Therese in there from the Women's Centre, so she's in there normally every day, but she's still going in there. So there's maybe a link can be done there and see if we can sort of, she's seen them before, they're sort of out back in the community in Lancashire, so there's those links there as well.
Yeah. But as for the guys, let's not leave the guys out.
Oh, no.
I'm a woman and an advocate for the women, but there are the guys as well, Karen.
Perhaps, Karen, we'll pick up. Let's pick up a conversation around how we can.
Yeah, definitely. Yes.
Because that link in
really proactive at the moment. Why not Manchester? That obviously they've got all the things on their mind at the moment, but there's always looking for an opportunity to do things differently. And now's our time to change things.
It is, and think outside the box and do it differently.
Yeah. Forget the box. There's no
box. There is no box. But this would feed in nicely with what we were talking about, Peter Furlong, about doing the training. Some training questions around the lockstone and harm reduction, to be able to let the lads and the girls in Style see that stuff.
Definitely. Did you see that video I posted last night on? That was colleagues in Birmingham who put that together. It's like it's less than 2 minutes, isn't it? How to put Pronoxad together.
Yeah.
And I'm only new to Twitter. I was encouraged by Ariella to join, but I put that on last night at 5:30 on Twitter, and it's had 1,300 views by 12 o'clock today. So it was like, the power of social media is amazing, isn't it? And I think we're all going to get together next week and look at some key messages. But I was amazed that 1,300 people have seen that video just overnight. So out there, isn't it?
And it is
snappy. Quick
snap. Yeah, we have to say our experiences were quite on the market side. We've got a team sort of behind us, but we put one video on last week but it was a person, one of our actual staff, and she just came out and said it as simply as it could, and it had 5,000 actual unique views, and it had a reach of over, I think, 18,000 people. Overnight. That was in one day, and it was, and we couldn't figure it out. We've got someone behind who does all these algorithms and all of that stuff, looking at and going, and we were trying to sort of figure out what part of that message worked. And I think we sort of thought it was the simple language. It was a real person that they recognised, related with, not talking jargon, just being real, and that's, I think, what worked.
Yeah. And it's that authenticness, isn't it? That I think everyone's got behind the screen, because it's we're all in each other's homes here. How more intimate can you get? And we're in your bedroom. Hi, little boy. What's your name? Karen. Who's that?
Sorry, this is Father.
Oh my.
Where did he go? I came upstairs to escape him when he came to. So there you go. Given up.
You've gone on mute.
Karen,
you're on mute.
Am I now?
You muted yourself, so that little meltdown you just had, thankfully we didn't hear it.
I was thinking, that's good. They didn't hear the boys coming back from their bike ride. That's good.
Aww. So, is there any other key messages you want to put out there, Karen? Wow, before we move on.
Staying safe and just remembering the harm minimisation, just looking out for each other, the same as everything else, really. But if there's any prompts we can have, we are going to do some sort of big event in Blackpool when we're able to do events just around what's needed for drug-related deaths in Blackpool and how can we get this down. So it's not a political shout, it's a real humanitarian shout. People should not be dying. So we need, what can we do? What's needed? What are we doing now that we can grab hold of so that that we can change the way we're working?
Well, one person dying in service is a failure, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah. Well, you know where we are.
It's sadness. It's so horrifically sad.
Yeah.
I think the other figure that was alarming was the amount of people who were dying from drug-related deaths who have never come across treatment. And I just think, wow, that's like, it's not great, that, is it?
Stephen Brown and Nicola Plum, they're going out to find these people and trying to encourage them into service. Definitely giving out naloxone. So they got some money, and we've done some training with the lived experience team, and they're going out to these places where people are not going to come to us, just to start saying, come on, dripping tap.
Well, we made sure that £1,000 went to empowerment, because from the LUF, the Lancashire User Forum, because we wanted to say, if you're going to connect with these people who are begging on the street for sometimes to put food in the mouth or whatever it is, they use that money for, if you're going to take them away from being able to earn for half an hour while you have a conversation about treatment or naloxone, then we want you to be able to at least give them a £10 voucher to go and buy themselves a bite to eat with. So they was all up for that, wasn't they, Steve? And
that was the people doing naloxone with you. That was a good project, that.
We'll get them on and tell us about it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for that update, Karen. I'm just mindful of time.
Wow, it's 20 past.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on then. Thank you, Karen.
Thanks, Karen. And shout out to all the Blackpool crew, Jobs, Friends and Houses, Shelley Malarkey, everybody, Sean, all the prisons, and John Ashton, Jane Ashton, everyone in Weimar. I could go on forever, but
Brother Ben,
love you all.
welcome, Brother Ben. So
Ben was going to come and wrap it up.
All right, I thought we had Brother Ben on next, but
No,
yeah, let's bring Leon in. Sorry, Brother Ben, I'm way off the agenda here, mate. Sorry, kid. Leon Marsh.
You okay?
Yeah.
All right, boyo.
How are you doing?
All right, yeah, good. You, thanks for inviting me on tonight. It's good to see everyone keeping safe, and hopefully, it's been quite humbling to hear, you know, your story earlier on, Lorna. It's quite a reminder of why we're doing it, I suppose, why we're working, especially in our residential services 24/7 at the minute. And I know you alluded to how much rehab had changed you, and I suppose it's just that reassurance, a reminder of, you know, the humongous effort that not only community services but residential services and frontline workers across the UK and in Lancashire are putting a shift in at the minute. You know, it is saving lives. So just wanted to say thanks for inviting me on, and it was good to hear your story.
It's a pleasure to have you on, Leon. You know, one of the things that struck me when you came into Lancashire working around Salus was you just threw the doors open to us in the community and said, just come in and let's strengthen the partnerships, because it's just the right thing to do. You know, people who come through detox and rehab, then they go on to live the life in the community. And I was really heartened because you said, come and have your camp here, you know, and we said, but not everyone who we bring with us has achieved abstinence yet. You know, we don't want to prevent anybody from coming, but he was like,
that's okay.
Well, manage it, Pete, you know, and you were there with us playing football, you know. I think it's been great the way you've really through the doors of that, because it's a resource.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. As I say, KAIS within Wales are a large provider, you know, that cover many different projects, 60 projects across Wales, employing 260 staff. And we moved into England, say, through Salus Widnell Hall, and based on existing relationships we had, you know, with Blackpool and Blackburn and Lancashire and Manchester, providing residential detox and rehab services. But the thing is, for me, it's always difficult to follow such an inspirational story, really, because I'm not too sure what I can add. But all I can add is that I'm an advocate of recovery, wherever that is and however that is, whether it be NA, AA, therapeutic provision, whether it be residential, whether it be community. I'm not even bothered.
User-led stuff.
Service user-led stuff, I won't leave you out. And also, whoever does it as well. One of my biggest frustrations is competition within health. You know, we're all sat. It's great to see, you know, CGL here, Delphi here, or technically we're agencies that tender for work against each other.
Do you know what I call it? Do you know what I say, Leon? I always say that it's about, and especially now in these, I hate these two words, they really do my head in, precedented times. It's about complementing, not competing.
Exactly. And I think I've always had that viewpoint, and like, you know, especially working with yourselves, I've never been precious around what we do and how we go about our business, because at the end of the day, my responsibility is to help those who need it most. That's it.
You've put your money where your mouth is, though, and you've actually contracted us to create opportunities for people to get into employment. You've not said, Pete, can use in your existing capacity, give us some of your time to come in and teach these guys about the next step. You've said, no, I'll pay you to do it. You're worth
it. There's nothing, again, another big bugbear of mine is when people come out of recovery and they're offered volunteering roles, but then they're not supported or they're sustained with employment. For me, we've got to co-produce, collaborate, work together. because you've got an insight, and every Zoom window here, you're experts within your own rights in different fields. And if I was naive enough to think that I knew everything, I shouldn't be working in this field. You know, I probably know about 5% of recovery. But between us all, it's a good percentage, isn't it, that we can help in any way, you know?
I've been a bit anxious, me, around some parts of the system that are absolutely crucial that we might not still have post COVID-19. And one of the things I've been worrying about is, are we still getting people through residential detox and residential rehab, because they're the feeder to the community. And because some of them are the businesses, aren't they? If they can't continue to run as a business, they might go out of business, and that would be devastating for us.
Yeah, well, typically, you know, and I suppose Karen will probably nod or not, they're expensive, very expensive resources. You know, you're talking £750,000, you know, to facilitate a detox year on year, working roughly on an occupancy or a break even to even open the doors of around about 80% of your beds being full. Now, statutory services, statutory beds have dwindled and dwindled and dwindled to the point where 2 years ago there was 254 residential services. Now there's only 154. So, and it wouldn't surprise me in another 12 months that number would half again. I can only see around about 100 services staying open. There's two reasons for that, really. A, clients are becoming more complex, and you know, very extreme sort of management of tissue viability, co-occurring conditions, you know, mental health, and not just depression, anxiety, or underlying. I'm talking about, you know, mental health diagnosis, and it's a real challenge because the bed night price is not rising either from statutory services. So, and we've seen a huge increase in people electing to choose treatment privately. I will say, and this is not because of the audience that's here tonight, is that in Lancashire, you're very, very lucky actually, and the services are very well run. CGL, you know, put a lot of people into detox and rehab. I mean, some places have just, I know there's some boroughs in London that are just not sending anyone now. That's it. They've spent the money for the year, the budget from April to April. Right. And we're talking, you know, we're only, what, 3-4 weeks into it.
I've
so
always said,
if you want detox, you either pay privately or you wait until April 21. You know, CGL, Lancashire, Blackpool, Blackburn do a fantastic job. Is it enough? No, but within the restraints that they've got, you know, absolutely brilliant, really. So I think one of my biggest concerns, I think, from a residential point of view, is that at the minute we're having a bit of a renaissance, really, on occupancy. So we're 99% full at the minute. We're literally working off a waiting list for the first time in probably about 3 years. But come COVID-19 finishing, someone's going to have to pay the price. So at the minute, a lot of services, and this isn't just related to Lancashire, this is, we've got referrals from Kensington and Chelsea, we've got referrals from Camden, we've got referrals from Durham, Lincolnshire, all over the country that are coming into Salus. And eventually, everyone's saying yes at the minute because it's an answer to society's most vulnerable. Come September, someone's going to scratch their head and find out that they've spent the money on residential treatment. So am I worried about the future for people who need residential treatment? Really, really worried. Because I think that for the next 1, 2, maybe 3 years, there's going to be less money around for residential treatment, which will mean that there'll be more deaths, there'll be more poorly people.
And this is where the community comes in, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, this is where the community does what, you know, and the therapeutic alliance of one addict or alcoholic helping another comes in. You know,
it's exactly. I mean, me and Karen spoke, you know, last week. Had a great conversation, just about that really, working in partnership, how we can protect, you know, between Salus and Kais and Delphi, how we can protect the most vulnerable people, identifying them. So that's really positive, and I think going back, looking after a large organisation in Wales, is that I find that a lot of the red tape and the abuse sometimes it's within councils has been cut because they've had to, and that's what streamlined everything to make everything a bit more stable. You know.
Yeah.
Did I cut out then?
You did, yeah.
Sorry. So sorry. Just to recap. There's probably me little lad going mad on Fortnite or something, taking up the bandwidth.
I know, mine too.
But anyway, yeah. So what Karen was saying before, I think different councils, policies, processes, procurement, finances, all get in the way of true recovery. Yeah. And I think sometimes what's happened with the COVID-19 crisis is that there hasn't been time to go to 94 committees. We've had to make decisions here and now. And I think that's helped things and decision makers quicker, which has been a massive positive. And I think that's what we need to harness moving forward. And I think between service providers like ourselves and recovery communities like you, is that we need to make sure that one thing that we've enjoyed is that fast, swift decision making. And that's what saved people's lives, and that's what's made a difference, in my opinion.
And I think for me, the process that is no more. We've got to think, you know, a completely different and work completely different, where the process has stopped the progress sometimes. Sometimes it really is now about thinking on our feet and it's relationships, isn't it? And trust.
And we're not geared up to support some of the more complex needs clients. So I do know some of the local providers who run like supported housing and day hubs. They're reporting into us that they're being asked to look after clients who, you know, they've got complex and multiple needs, and they're not geared up to do it, and you know the resources isn't there, but they won't let these people slip through the gaps.
I mean, some of the challenges we're facing in a minute. So I look after Parkland Place, which is 16 beds in North Wales, Havant Wen, which is 25 beds, Salus Widner Hall Rehab, which is 27 beds, and also Salus Widner Hall Detox, which is 14. So there's 83 beds there. And we're open at all the facilities. Staff are literally working tirelessly, and we've managed to procure PPE. I mean, just to give people an idea of costs, I mean, I spent £12,000 yesterday on PPE. So we still haven't received anything through NHS supply lines. I don't know whether Karen has or not, but probably not. We're still waiting for, shaking the head, which is good. So I'm not the only one that's been left out, but care homes like ourselves aren't receiving PPE. So we've had to procure our own. So we've been lucky in North Wales in the sense of we've had a number of vets, dentists, tattoo parlours that have all come together to offer us PPE. And then now we've finally managed to procure some larger orders, and obviously we've been shipping them up to Lancashire. But one thing I've been particularly pleased about, there's been a number of facilities that are really struggling with PPE, and we've been in a position where we've been able to send some of that on as well to keep colleagues safe and to make sure their services stay open, you know.
Yeah. So have you not got PPE, Leon? Have you not had it?
Now.
Right, okay, yeah. And have you, Karen?
We've had to purchase it privately. So as much as we were promised it through the NHS and different supply routes, it's almost like a snakes and ladders. You think you get in there and then you go straight back to go. It's been impossible to get. So no, we haven't jeopardized or put any of our staff or our clients at risk. Absolutely not. But it has been a daily mission to get it.
Yeah. I mean, I managed to get hold of 10,000 masks yesterday. So our stocks have been anywhere between 400 and 500 masks. So we've always had stocks and always had PPE.
Yeah.
But 500 sounds like a lot. But we've got patients in isolation that we have for the first 7 days, and go through rigorous testing before they go to the wider community to make sure that they're showing no symptoms and signs.
Yeah.
But we've got staff changing their masks 10 times a day, minimum. And then bear in mind, if you've got 20 people in isolation, it's 200 masks, 1,400 a week.
Yeah.
So 5,000's not a lot when you're burning through 1,500 a week. But we've got firm supply lines. We've got different policies and procedures. I mean, me and Karen shared some policies and procedures to make sure that.
Oh, that's good.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
On the same page and things like that. You know, that we're consistent with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're. I mean, again, not to stress the point really, but one of the things I miss being a director is that on the face-to-face contact, you know, the hustle and bustle of supporting and of people day to day, being a key worker.
The chaos.
Yeah, we do it for a reason, don't we? You know, we love the chaos. But I stood outside listening to, you know, every Thursday night, 8 o'clock, and I was clapping myself and with a tear in my eye, really, just clapping for every single person who is going above and beyond. And I mean, my staff, and I'm sure everyone else's, has just been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Every single one of them. I couldn't ask for any more. I really couldn't.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, a massive shout out to the team then, to everyone's team. Because you know, they are working on the front line, and I'm hearing about the doctors and the nurses, and you know, let's not forget all the key workers in the prison, you know, the prisoners, officers out there that are working on the front line. You know, a massive shout out to them. Okay, is there anything positive come out of this, Leon?
Yeah,
that you want to keep going forward.
Yeah, without doubt. I think, you know, some of this breaking down barriers, this type of thing is fantastic. Getting to meet, you know, inspirational people, you know, Lorna, Chinny, obviously everyone else counts as inspirational. Glenn knows he's cool. He's one of my favourites, Glenn.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, I just think that it just fascinates me that maybe the chat that I'm having with someone now in a residential service might be the Shinny and the Lorna in 3 years' time, yeah?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, to keep that every time we're interacting with someone, making sure it has a therapeutic value, it's meaningful, and getting the small things right, really. And we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to work tirelessly, and just a massive thanks for all your support. And you
always,
know, all that.
Always, Leon. Thank you for that, love.
Thanks, Leon.
Let's just find out from the Women's Centre, Mandy.
Hi. Hello there. Hi.
Do you want to tell us what's going on with the Women's Centre?
Yeah, of course I will. And I'll try and be brief because I don't know how I follow all those amazing people and those stories, really. But we are still operating completely as normal. So all of our sort of practical advice services are still out there. So the money, the benefits, the people that might suddenly have been furloughed, those are suddenly in self-employment, all that is still going on. Plus those that are suddenly not aware, all of our therapy is still happening. So counselling, CBT, it's all happening remotely. Most of it is via telephone, although obviously our the ladies that work on our justice and safety team who are in the prisons and working with probation, all that work it's still just happening, just differently. We're Zooming, we're WhatsApping, we're team calling. We've got a YouTube channel now that has a lot of self-care. I know Shimmy mentioned his meditation, but we've got a lot there on mindfulness. So if you've never done you get a lot of cynics out there who probably like never thought about the breathing or how that impacts on you or how your behaviour and your thoughts. We've got some of that out there. What we are going to start, we've trialled in Blackpool, was our MindFit group, which was always normally a face-to-face, all about dealing with emotions, what impacts your thoughts, your feelings, and things like anxiety, depression, sleep, pain, worry, all the things that make us, you know, have negative thoughts, I suppose, in a nutshell. We've trialled it in Blackpool and it worked really well. And these were people who probably might not have even come into service previously because they might have been frightened of entering the door. So that is going digitally via Zoom. So they're like classrooms and there's still the same interaction. So I'm waiting and watching on that one, to be honest, because I know I've had to do videos suddenly. I'm suddenly seeing my own face a lot. And my staffs, and everybody's just sort of adapting. I think what I've found as from this is it was the fear of doing it differently rather than actually when it's been thrust upon everybody. Suddenly we've got more content from social media than we've ever had in you know, it took a pandemic, I think our marketing person said, to actually get our voice out there and make people realise. But what I want to say is that no matter who you are, if you want some help, if we call it a whole systems approach, practical and emotional support, we've got it. But we've worked very closely with a lot of other partners. We're still doing all of our employment support programs. They're still operating. So talking about that, our Changing Futures probably links in to some of your guys that are coming at the end of recovery and do need sort of that more around that self-belief and that, like Lorna, that finding that actually you have got strengths and you have got worth and digging them out from wherever they may have been pushed and you've been led to believe that for so long that it's real. I get it, Lorna. It's really hard to find it again when you've had everybody tell you for so long it isn't there. Sorry, I keep coming back to you because I'm so proud of you. And that's what we want. We want to find everybody's strengths in whichever way, and we can do that. So there's lots of different services. And as I said, we've got an online referral. There's a phone number. There's an email. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We've got a YouTube channel. I think really we're pretty out there. We just need to share that message. And what I'd say, if anybody's not sure, just get in touch and we'll do what we can.
And the Women's Centre number is 0300 330 1354. You sing
I
it,
did it.
Mandy. Sing it.
0300 330 1354. That's how I learned it. Sorry. There you go. You all got it. That's exactly how I learned it. Sorry, I need to explain now. We used to have individual centre numbers and then we grew and then we got one phone number and it was so hard for me. I was like, I needed to learn this in some sort of song. So Shimmy, I'm nothing on you, by the way.
Just on that, you know, the women that are getting released from prison to Lancashire, how many's getting released? Is there quite a few?
Yeah, it's still happening. We've had, and I think that's perhaps one of the issues we've suddenly had is that we've found accommodation and we're working with them, but suddenly they're coming out of a community. And they're suddenly being forced into isolation almost. So they're suddenly, yes, they can go out for treatment or for the script or it's being coming to them, but they're coming out. So we're suddenly having calls out to find like dongles and TVs because actually we're setting them up to fail if we don't give people something to sort of see them through this really difficult, because it's difficult for most of us, and if they're on their own and they haven't got anybody other than what's in this new property and everyth's so new, we're touching base a lot more perhaps.
That's the rummage resources.
And we're sort of, what we are doing, as much as we have a justice and safety team that look after ladies, we're all touching base. So what we're doing is those that are quieter, we're sort of almost becoming a befriending service as well, to make sure that anybody that's in our service and is accessing or hasn't accessed for a while, we pulled that data off as well. We've touched base with every single person. Someone from Lancashire Women has touched base with these people, and it's just that. And we're still, you know, there's still lots of partnerships going on and conversations happening through this sort of stuff. And I just appreciate being, you know, asked to come and talk about something. We're not necessarily recovery, but these people definitely come into our service.
Yeah, also what I've noticed over the time is a lot of your women we do work with. So, you know, I've always said we should do some partnership working together. Glenn, did you have a question?
No, it weren't a question. I was just on the figure that you asked about being released into the community. So I got information yesterday. So it's over 200 women that's going to be released in the next few weeks from all over Lancashire.
Yeah, the Lancashire, yeah. So we're working still really closely with probation, and WhatsApp is now our friend. So it allows us to have three-way conversations and things. So we've all had to learn to do, you know, probation officers are working from home as well, but we've always had that three-way connection, but we're having to do it a little bit differently now. Therese is one of our workers who works in Styles, so she gets those figures, and she works with them before the release. So what happens is, you know, it's a bit like the old through the gate, and she works with them in, and the person that they're going to work with outside comes into Style regularly and catches up with them, so that we remove the barrier of the fear of who is it I'm going to be seeing. We know how it works, so actually we're trying to remove as much as we can so that we can still work with them.
Okay, Karen, I'm just aware of the time, and we need another tune. Shinny's going to sing us out in a minute. Have you got any word for any women out there, or for the women that are going to be coming out there that might play this when they actually get back? Have you got any words to say to any women out there?
Sorry, did you say Karen or
Mandy? Sorry,
sorry, that's my fault. Do you mean Karen? Yeah, it's just. Mine is. I mean, you said what are we committed to, and I think Lancashire women are committed to staying connected. So whichever way you need to do it, get in touch. We're there.
Yeah, thank you, Mandy.
No problem.
Just quickly before the man Shinny comes on, he's the master of getting people to follow and getting the shares and likes. So, how many people do we need, Shinny, to get Pete to have a coronavirus crew cut? What number do we need to get to?
No.
And a TikTok.
No.
Let's get another 40 shares. There isn't 40 shares off, people. That should do it. He's near 40 people watching now. Everybody is like to share it. It'd be right.
But just saying that, Leon, before you start, Shinny, Leon, someone's just sent a message in to say thank you because one of their relatives, the family members, unfortunately, he's just passed on. But the family was saying rehab with you guys was a big difference in his life.
Yeah. And you do make a difference, Leon.
It was his only experience of rehab, and it was fantastic. So the family want to give you a lot of love and thanks, Leon.
Thanks. If they don't mind as well, and if they feel, if they email me, you can put my email or that'd be good. Just to find out who it was. I appreciate don't put it on here, but just so really want to tell me, but to just know so I can staff, because we always wonder what happens when people go, you know. So it'd be good to know who it was and see whether we can offer the family any support as well, you know.
We'll make that connection.
So another 1,000 likes for a Pete Yarwood crew cut.
Okay, so I'm aware as well. So Peter Furlong, love you. He had to go, and so did Prun as well. And this is it. You see, we struggle for time, don't we?
Ben
went as well. So love you guys anyway. They will probably be coming back.
It's been 2 hours, so it's been 2 hours.
So Shinny, sing it out, dude.
This is a favourite of the Shinny show. It's goodbye, and like you always say, this can mean goodbye to anything: drugs, alcohol, anxiety, depression, bad relationships, bad choices. That's what it's all about, basically. And I've noticed the numbers have climbed a little bit. They usually go down when I come on with the guitar, so I'm happy with that. So this is goodbye.
Stand there for a few minutes, then, like you said.
All this time I'm feeling down, tired of the fooling round goodbye.
I'll say goodbye. Sick of all the falling out, I hate the way you scream and shout goodbye. Oh, I'll say goodbye. I wonder why, I say goodbye, 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 I say goodbye, Many times we were alone, you made me feel oh so cold. Goodbye, I'll say goodbye. Tell myself to let it go. I'm a fool, I just don't know. Goodbye, oh, I'll say goodbye. I wonder why, I say goodbye, goodbye, I say goodbye. Wild as you get me down, wild as you fool around. Time for me to let it go, it's gonna break my heart, I know. Why I let you get me down, why I let you fool around. Time for me to let it go, it's gonna break my heart, I know. Goodbye, 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 I'll say goodbye. There you go, everyone. Thank you.
I say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Goodbye, goodbye,
Goodbye.
Oh, thanks for coming on, Sinead. Lorna,
Yeah,
I love you.
You're more than welcome.
Thank you, Leon. And let's just hand over to Glenn to sign out for us. And last words, Glenn.
Well, firstly, I want to apologise to everyone for having to disappear for a couple of minutes. My neighbour set his fence on fire, and it set all mine up. We're blazing a light, so I had to leave. So I'm a bit.
Can we have some photos?
Well, I FaceTimes. Oh, do you know what? It only happened on LUF, wasn't it? It had to happen on LUF.
because we are on fire, man. We're hot.
Yeah. Well,
man's
not hot. Man's not hot.
No, I just want to say thank you to all the guests and all the people watching out there. It's a massive platform to be able to ask your questions, and like I said, I know we can't get the questions to all the guests, but we do our best on what we want, the time frame that we've got.
Yeah.
I do know that there's been people watching from all over the world tonight, America, different places. So if there is anybody that wants any support, then they can go onto the Red Rose Recovery website and do a referral form, and that way we'll be able to connect and get your contact details and stuff like that. Depending on what support you're after, we can either signpost you or we can get you connected with the groups and Zoom groups that we're doing on a daily basis. I know that there's stuff going on all over Lancashire, as in the East and North Central and stuff like that. And I just want to say thank you to the people behind the scenes as well. I know I had a few questions for all of you that I didn't get to ask because of my fire, so I apologise on that. I will get them in at some point because I'm on nearly every week. And thanks for joining us.
So, thank you, Glenn. You're a massive part of the team. Thank you, Lorna, and everyone, and Scott and Liz and Lindsay and Garrett, all the team out there, and Alison Kershaw behind the scenes that are nudges in the community as well, and all the Shinnies fans that should have liked and shared, because that's what we're doing at Shinny.
It's gone.
Sorry, yeah, like and share. I've looked at the shares, and I think we've had well over 100 shares, which is great. Loads of comments, loads of likes and stuff. Brilliant. So I'd love you to let me know what people you've reached and how many views this show has had tonight. Please let us all let us know if you will.
Yeah, of course.
Well, this is the 5th show, so the first 3 shows we had something like about between 6,000 and 7,000 views. The 4th show went down to just under 5,000 views with a reach of 12,000 people. The other first 3 had a reach of 18,000. So I will say if we get 20,000 views, I will ball my head live on air, skinhead. But we need 20,000 views to do that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'll view it 20,000 times for that.
Yeah, very glad.
I'm going to go for the show tonight. I'm going to get everybody to share it tonight.
He looks so rogue with the bald head.
I do, yeah.
You look really
rogue.
Look,
I look wrong. I know.
So
you were wrong on your bald head.
If you want to see Pete Yarwood be a bald head, share and view it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any final words from the amazing Glenn?
Inspiring and community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And what about you, Mr. Yarwood?
It's been a good show tonight.
Yeah,
I've really enjoyed it. 2 hours have just gone like that.
I know.
I think, commitment. I think, committed to staying connected would be the final thought. If you're going to commit to anything, commit yourself to staying connected, because isolation's the big killer in it.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's
Lorna was great.
I know, of course she was. I know. I would definitely say this is overwhelming evidence that resources lay in your relationships, and long may we keep building new relationships.
Yeah.
Old and new. I love you all dearly, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Oh, everyone that's watching as well, all the guests that have come and all the guests that have gone, I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Stay blessed.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.